Hello everyone and welcome to Better Every Bucket, Episode 1. Hey guys, what's going on? My name's Jack and welcome to the first episode of this series. I've been playing golf for about 4 years now, and honestly, over those 4 years I've become kind of obsessed with trying to get better. I've spent way too many hours at the range, watched more golf videos than I can count, and I've probably tried every swing tip on YouTube at least once. I've been an athlete my whole life and played college lacrosse, so I've always enjoyed breaking down technique and figuring out how small changes can make a big difference. Golf has definitely humbled me though. I've spent countless hours at the range in range sessions trying to figure out why my swing feels amazing one day and completely disappears the next. I'm definitely not a PGA pro, and I'm not trying to act like I have all the answers. Everyone's golf swing is different, and what works for me might not work for you. The whole point of these videos is just to share the things that I've learned, what I'm currently working on, and hopefully help some of you improve while I'm trying to improve as well. If something I talk about helps you, awesome. And if not, that's totally fine. Take what works and leave what doesn't. Today's video is all about two things that I think almost every golfer can benefit from checking every single time they practice: your grip and your setup. They might not be the most exciting parts of the golf swing, but if you don't have those dialed in, it's really hard to be consistent with anything else. So let's head over to the range and let's get started.
Hello, I am Jack Anglum. I am an amateur golfer playing around a 10 handicap or so. I'm starting a couple episodes for amateur to mid-intermediate golfers that are just looking for refreshers, maybe tips they haven't seen. This isn't something that, pros are going to look at or anything like that, but, more like to track my progression and my learning and increasing my skills in my golf game, while also trying to pass a couple pointers to anyone who could use them, and pick and choose which pointers, if any, you want to use. Sometimes I'm just flat out wrong. That's okay, and sometimes things work for me that don't necessarily work for other people. And so you find what works for you, and that's great. And if it works great for you, there's no problems with that at all. I'm just trying to pass off some knowledge and also track my progression as I learn more about golf. So today I'm going to start from the ground up, and really from a beginner standpoint, where I'm going to be covering the grip and your stance itself. And obviously these things will change depending on the person and your physical capabilities, but some things that will increase the consistency in your game, should just help you strike the ball a little bit better. And so first I'm going to tackle the grip. One thing that I see a lot of amateur golfers do, and some intermediate, and I'm definitely guilty of this sometimes, as setting up and not really caring about your grip at all, and that just sets you up for disaster, as a lot of things do. But if you don't have your grip consistent every single time, you can't expect to hit the ball consistent every time. So quickly, just going over basic, you want to line it up so your face is right down, and you don't want to have it so it's either in your palm or in your fingertips straight like that, because that's just going to have a lot of wrist hinge, as you can see. You want to put it diagonally, and so right here, I can take off the grip for a better picture, but this part of your pointer down to this part of your hand at that angle, and then you're gripping with your fingertips and your thumb is running straight down. Next, with your right hand, and so if you see right here, sorry, going back, the face is lined up with my thumb, and so I can guarantee that if I'm swinging the same way, the ball is going to go the same way every time. Next, with your right hand, a lot of people like to interlock. Personally, I do not, but there's no problems with that. whatsoever. And so you want to take it in your fingertips, not your palm, but your fingertips. You can interlock there. And then run your thumb on the side of your finger, not the top. Most important part, making sure you're not death gripping it. You don't want to release the ball, or the club rather, into the driving range. It's never good, always embarrassing. But you do want to have a good grip. You're not trying to kill it, because then that's just going to restrict your entire swing. And so quickly again, you have the grip on that part of your finger right there, and you put that there, right here, in your fingertips, thumb running straight down, and then here, these pads of your fingers, if not here, in the knuckle, here, and the thumb running down again. And you can interlock or not. That's pretty much up to personal preference. A lot of pros interlock, and I'm sure you're familiar with. It really is up to personal preference.
Okay, now getting into the stance a little bit more. So when I set up, you're going to see that I let the club dictate where my stance is. And so it depends on the lie angle of your club, where I want the face lying flat against the ground, and then I'm going to let that dictate how my stance is. And so as you can see, I lay the club flat, how it wants to be set up, and then I step into it. And that's a normal shot with it in the middle of my stance with an 8-iron. Your club length and lie angle is going to dictate how much hinge you have at the hips, how upright your torso is, and ultimately most of your stance. And so if it's more upright, then your torso is going to be more upright, and vice versa. As you can see, I was standing too far away from the ball there, and now I'm going to stand over it too much, and you can see I can barely get any rotation, and I'm going to end up chunking the ball or just not hitting it with the most efficiency. So again, I line up the club and then I step into it. And so when I'm stepping into it, I have the ball in the middle of my stance, and then I take 3 inches to the left and then 3 inches to the right. And that's for middle irons. Where long irons, you're 4 or 5, you want a little bit closer to the front foot, maybe about an inch closer. And then with your wedges, you want them farther in the back. And so right here, I'm going to line up. I have my face flat against the ground. I take a step left, I take a step right, and then I set my grip. So my grip is the same every single time. Right there on the video, I'm showing that I want the butt end to be about 4 to 6 inches away from my body, but not too far away. And that way, when I take it back, I can get enough rotation and my body feels comfortable enough where I can actually swing and hit the ball. Next, I'm going to place the ball a little bit too far forward in my stance. And so as you can see, I topped that ball. I didn't hit it well. And that's because with my swing path, I'm not able to compress that ball or hit it well. And then when the ball is farther back in my stance, I compress the ball, but that's not how you can hit it efficiently, and that's not a very repeatable motion. Where if you set up with your stance the exact same every single time, depending on your club, of course, you can hit it the same every single time. There I stepped too far away from the ball, and I wasn't able to compress the ball, and it went too flat. And then here I'm way too close, and if you look closely, I chunked the ball where I hit it behind the ball, and that went about 100 yards shorter than it should have been. Now going a little bit more into the stance and how that affects the entirety of your swing, I'm going to show how stance affects club striking and also the angle at your torso, and how that can make it so you either top the ball or chunk the ball. And so right here, I am setting up my stance, and then I had my club already, so I walked into the club. And so here, now my torso is too upright, and I will demonstrate in a second what that's going to do. But quickly, just to show the correct way, I set up to the ball, I spread my legs 3 inches right, 3 inches left. I set my grip, and then I hit the ball. And it goes decently straight. Can't expect to go straight all the time, but consistency is really key. And so here my torso is way too upright, And as you see, I top the ball and it rolls over, and it's kind of embarrassing for the rest of the range. So just to go over some of the things in the video that I covered today, which is setting your grip and also setting your stance and how those impact your game tremendously. One of the things that I really notice from amateur golfers especially, but also intermediate golfers, someone around 15 to 25 handicap, is the repeatability of their swing. And so if you hit your 6-iron 120 yards, but you hit it 120 yards straight, and you hit it 120 yards every single time, then you're going to be a hell of a golfer. But what I see is that when you don't set your grip and don't focus on your grip and also don't focus on your stance and making those consistent every single time, you have a 0% chance of hitting the ball consistently every time, and you're really just leaving it up to luck. And so just to reiterate some of the main points that I brought up today, besides showing you the grip and showing the stance, is when you get up to the ball, you want to focus on both setting your hands in the same exact way every single time in regards to how it lines up with the club face, and also making sure you're standing square, as you can see with this camera angle behind me, how I'm lined up square to my target. And also with your long irons, wedges, and mid irons, you're going to be setting with the ball farther back or farther forward in your stance, but making sure that the ball is set in the same place for that specific respective iron every single time will help improve your game dramatically. And hopefully some of the tips that I've covered in this video you can learn from or take away. Again, my tips are really take them or leave them, where if it helps you, that's great. These are just things that I've tried to learn, focus on, and really teach some of my friends to help improve my golf game and hopefully improve your golf game as well. Thank you.